The Youngins Podcast is brought to you by Figueroa 8, a new level of high-rise living in the very center of downtown Los Angeles. Figueroa 8, the new home for Swish Cultures content. All right, welcome to the Youngins Podcast.
The Youngins.
The place that brings you the hottest news in youth sports. We got two special guests. This is the first time ever we've had this. We got my dog, Nate Ament, and we have his agent with NIL Sports, Derek Malloy. What's up, my dogs?
What's up, bro? How are you?
What up,
Man,
Swish?
I'm doing good. Man, a lot has changed. I'm going to drop the bomb. Number one, before we got on the podcast, I want you to see the growth of Nate Ament. He asked me what the questions were to the podcast, and I love that because honestly, especially for all these athletes, you guys got a lot coming at you guys, and it's important for you to know the questions. So the media training has gone way up. I'm going to drop the bomb on that again, too, as well. And, man, what made you do that, too, by the way?
I mean, you see me at the you was there with me at my first real media type stuff with Reebok, and I don't want to say I went in there blind, but I didn't really know what to expect. So I just want to make sure that I know my answers, what you're asking me, and that I can answer to the best of my ability before I just get thrown in the fire with all these questions.
Through the fire, like Kanye West would say, huh? Derek, what do you like about that too, as well, too, bro?
Yeah, I mean, it's just good not to be kind of blindsided these days. A lot of reporters really ask questions to set you up. Obviously, we only jumped on this podcast because we really mess with you because you do a really good job for really the hoop culture as a whole. So, yeah, I think just getting that warm-up swing is always good before an interview.
Yep, and before we go right into, the first question, I want y'all to see the branding. Number one, we're going to start off with Derek this time. He got NIL Sports Management, the T-shirt on. That is his company right there. And then let's go to Nate Ament, who signed a major deal with Reebok, too. Branding yourself. It's important, guys. It's important. That's number one. Always present yourself in a great manner. And I love that about y'all. But, we're going to get right into, the first topic. Explain to everybody why we're here, too, on this pod.
So we signed a deal with Fanstake, and I got some of the equity in the company. But when I first was presented with that, I had no idea what it was. It's kind of a newer company, and I say that's why I like it so much. They're kind of trailblazing a new thing, and it's just such a incredible idea. Just allowing fans to get in on their players' recruitment, trying to persuade a player to come to their school. It also, just as a player, seeing, all the love and support, not necessarily just the money aspect, but seeing, how much the fans are invested. It does a lot for, a player to see, where they're truly wanted in a school.
Yeah, and how have you seen the process from start to finish of that? Because I've seen a significant difference, too, in myself. But even for yourself, when you first did this deal, how have you seen the growth and the difference from when you started all the way up until now?
Well, I mean, there's always been a clear leader in Louisville, but you can see that a lot of programs, they don't like seeing a program ahead of them, so they they're battling it out to see who can get the number one spot. But it does a lot for me as a recruit, seeing all these fans so invested into not only just the program and how much they care about the program, but also into me as a player and how much they think I would fit in their program.
Yep, and then, for Derek, before we get into the numbers, about the Fanstake, a lot of times parents, they always talk about what? Shoe deal, car deal. And that's agents too. Car deal, shoe deal, drink deal. I saw Fanstake and I'm like, oh, no, they're doing something different. And we're in the new NIL space too as well. You guys are our first group that we're kind of doing the case study on. So, for you, when you first heard about Fanstake, Derek, how did you bring that conversation to Nate? And then what made you really interested in it, too, as well as an agent?
Yeah, we did a lot of background digging on it before bringing it to Nate. Obviously, when we meet with guys, we really pitch towards the equity stuff, and we want guys to have equity in things and build companies and really see growth that way versus just taking a couple of dollars here and there. So that was a really nice part of it that kind of caught our attention. And then when we just really went through it as a company as a whole, there was really no downside to it. The fans can get involved, players can kind of see where they're most wanted. It'll be really cool for the transfer portal this year, because if you go watch a player on a different team during the season and you're a fan and you can put money on your school's behalf on your name, it basically makes a fan a GM. So you can go and do things that way, and there's really no downside. You get your money back if the players don't go to the school. and you get the player if they do. So if to spend the money. So it's a really cool concept, and we got really lucky on it, honestly, because Nate was the top uncommitted player at the time. So I feel like we kind of just sat in there by default, and they like him a lot to become a great ambassador, and so we took and ran with it. I'm excited to see where it goes.
Yeah, how long was that on the table? Was that a pretty fast process for you guys with making that decision? Like how did that go about? Because
Yeah,
you
I
said
think we
he
went.
was not uncommitted too as well. So that's the main reason. Because a lot of kids nowadays they rush for the commitment. You're
Right.
showing that there's a positive to not committing as early. So that's why I want to ask you that question.
Yeah, once you climb to the top of that leaderboard, obviously it becomes all eyes on you. So if you want that kind of pressure and attention, it's a good thing. And Nate's handled that really well. So having Fanstake jump in was really a cool thing because it kind of just gave us like a brand new opportunity for him to look at, and that was okay. We went back and forth a little bit here and there, but then once we all talked about it, we agreed on it and took it and ran with it.
Yep, and I got to drop the bomb too because this dude Nate, man, just seeing his journey, his growth, like all the way down from Team USA to sophomore, junior year. Like this guy's never rattled, bro. He acts like he's been here before too. That's why it's so crazy for me. Like just his mannerisms, everything that he does. Like with this college process, now you add in Fanstake to the picture of it. Like I feel like the best person to start this is honestly you because a lot is coming at you during this time. And even when we get to the numbers, you're going to see why. How has it been for you dealing with all this, uncommitted? Yo, Nate, why now, bro? Like, why are you waiting so long? Just tell us now. Like, I know you hear that all the time because everybody else committed. So, like, for you, how's it been with you handling that?
For me, it's really always been about just finding the right school and the right fit. And I feel like the more time I have to do that, the better it'll be, not only just for me, but for the school I end up picking. So I really understand that school. And the coaches that have been recruiting me have done a great job with it. You can see who really wants you and who's really committed, but also they understand that this is a big decision for a young man like me. So they've been just good, giving me all the information that they got and making me, understand why they would like me having me at their school. But I mean, you've known me for a little bit. Derek's obviously known me for a lot longer, but you guys know that for me, it's never really about the money or the attention, but it's about growing as a young man, becoming the man I want to be. And a lot of that has to do with my faith and who I am as a Christian, but just making sure that the right things are presented in front of me, and I'm not focused on things that could lead me down a wrong road.
Yeah, and that's one thing that I really love that you always talk about. It is also to your faith too as well. So I think that's fire. But in terms of like Fanstake, I want people to kind of like get the gist of everything. So when I first really started tracking the numbers for you guys, and too, by the way, if you guys do, if say I sign up for Fanstake and I put money towards your books and what school I want you to go to, like Derek said, you get your money back. So I don't want people to think like if you don't choose the school that someone wants you to go to, you don't get your money back. You do, right? So I want to go with the numbers first. When I first looked, this is what the numbers were. Louisville, they invested $30,000 into their stakes. Duke was at 4,950. Alabama 4,275. Texas 2,565. Kentucky 1,055. Yale 1,430, and so on. Georgetown, Virginia, Georgia, Kansas State, all love to them too, right? Now, we go to today. Let's look at the numbers. Louisville, they rose the stakes up, 36,465. Kentucky must not like that Louisville was at the top of the leaderboard because they're right there, 21,220, right? And then Duke, 5,000. Alabama, 4,000. Tennessee, 3,000. So I did, the accumulation. The first time I looked on your Fanstake, it was around 45,000, right? That was a month ago. Now we go to now, it's at 75,000. Like, the difference in change. Like, do people hit you up too and the fans hit you up? And how's the engagement with that? Like, hey, the Kentucky boys, we out here down too now. Like, you see us. How's it been in terms of that banner?
It's awesome. It's like they be having like wars in my comment section talking about which program's better and stuff. And it's honestly truly to see. It's truly great to see because One, I could look at it and be like, yeah, I'm this amazing player that's so many people want to, put money in for me to go to school. But the way I look at it is these programs, their fans are so, so loyal and, so dedicated that they want, the best for their program, the best for their coaches, and just to see their programs win. So that's another reason why I love Fanstake, because it, gets to show the programs and their fans true colors. And the program's really made up of their, their fandom and, how much, support they have outside the basketball team. So getting seen that is so cool, but also getting to see like, the wars and the everyone yelling at each other in my comment section, and some of the words they're saying should not be being said in my comment section. So it's really cool to see.
Yep, and for you, Derek, I mean, such a new space. NIL, it's changed the whole landscape of this agency business. Kids getting recruited as freshmen now, from agencies too. But for you, seeing the fan stake side of things, how have you seen that difference, bro? Like, since it's so new, and how it's been processed into the NIL space, allowing the kid and allowing the fan to have access more so to the kid and show their support to the kid. How have you seen that? How have you liked that?
Yeah, I think it's a classic case of like put your money where your mouth is, because these fans are always all over Twitter, from the NBA to college to really all levels of sports. And they're all chirping back and forth about this and that and how they want to change this and change that. But here they have a real chance to really stand up and contribute, and that's up to them. So it's really cool to kind of see them kind of battle it out and race out against each other. At the end of the day, it's just fun to watch.
Yep, and then what do you feel like D is the biggest misconception about NIL? And because I even talk to parents and kids. Kids want everything. They want it all, to be honest. Like, they want everything. And people aren't really getting deals like people think they are. Let's just be honest here. And I just seen Nate being able to accomplish so much in even a short time for me. So how has it been for you, like seeing all the stuff that Nate's been able to do and what you guys have been able to do together? But you always give credit to Nate. You never throw it on yourself. So how has it been for you?
Yeah, I think for me and for the business as a whole, it's from what I've seen so far, because it's still fairly new, is you just got to really focus on your first one. And if you do your first one well and it's the right one, then other brands will see that and start to contribute to it. So if you do your first deal and you don't do a great job producing it, you don't do a great job communicating, you're late with posts and things like that, the word can carry. And so you never want to slip up with any type of deal, because you just want to keep building your marketing as best as you can. And for us to start with Nate's first deal with Reebok was just a home run. So we're excited to see where things go from there.
Yep, y'all got some crazy stuff in the works too. I ain't even gonna say nothing about that. I already know y'all do. Um, but even for you, Nate, like, okay, say you do make your commitment, right? You get to, get the flowers, everybody, happy. What's the plan with Fanstake after you do your commitment too as well? Because I looked on there, I saw Cooper Flag still getting money put to his books. Juju Watkins is getting money towards her books. Shoot, even Juju Watkins has a transfer portal. I know she's not transferring nowhere, but they even got that lined up just in case you're thinking about going somewhere. So what is your plan like after, you commit to a school and you sign with them, with Fanstake?
My plan is just, to stay consistent with them. Like I said, I have a little bit of equity in the company, but it's such a tremendous idea of a company that, whatever they got on the table, I want to support fully. I think what they're doing is going to change the NIL landscape for college. It's going to be insane to see what they got coming in years to come and months to come. So, whatever they got coming ahead, I want to, be in full support of, and definitely just, keep on going with Fanstake for sure.
Yeah, and what can you say to kids too about having themselves sign on to Fanstake? Because kids always worry, like, is there something like that's gonna happen or go down if I do that? Like, am I gonna get in trouble? Like, nah. Like, what can you say to them about you signing up?
It was actually kind of funny, because when I first released the Fanstake thing, everyone was like, "Bro, I'm about to bet on you. You about to go to this school. I'm about to make some money betting on you going to this school." But honestly, it's nothing like that. It's nothing like betting. It's a win-win for the athlete, for the fans, and obviously for Fanstake. But if a kid is looking to join Fanstake, it's a great idea. It does nothing but help you. Of course, it gives you the money, if you do choose to go to a school, but it also gives you the information you need to know about a school, and just how dedicated their fans was, like I said before.
Yep, and last two questions before I get to some plays real quick. How have things changed for you, Nate? I mean, just from from a perspective of, I remember I went to Treviso because I was hearing, man, Nate. I was like, I got to see Nate live. Like, I got to see him, right? Then I see Elite 24 go crazy. Even a lot has changed from there. Now I've seen, what you've done at Highlands, and I just hear your name in every conversation, even all the way down here in Cali. Like, people are talking about you and in this upcoming draft. How have things changed for you, bro, in a matter of this summer all the way up until February of now?
I mean, a lot has changed, but a lot has changed obviously with some of the deals I've done and some of the basketball I've played. But like you said earlier, there's a level of peace to everything I do and how I'm acting, because for me, I'm not focused on the future or what's coming ahead. I try to focus on the present every day. Again, like I said, with my faith, the Lord tells us a lot of the times to not worry about what's to come in the future, because it won't add anything unto our lives. So for me, it's just staying focused on the day. I have a great circle around me. Of course, Derek, my family, my trainers and coaches. So having them in my circle, keeping me grounded, making sure I'm doing my workouts every day, it's great. And it does get really tough because you get excited with a lot of things coming down the road, the possibilities that could come. But they always remind me that those things won't come if I don't. You just keep my head down, work hard, and trust God.
Yep. And Derek, how have you seen things change? Is it for you like when you have a top recruit, let's just be honest, is it tough for you like, man, like all these people are approaching him? Because a lot of times agents do that. You always cool. Look, you see how you laid back right now. This is how you are a real person, my dog. Like, how is it for you? Explain to someone having a top prospect in the NIL era, which is different, and everyone's trying to get to him.
I got my start in this business when I was really young. I was like a high school kid managing a high school player who happened to be one of my best friends. So I've just kind of always been around that environment. And I just always have had a really good read on people since then, kind of get to know who's in the business and who are the guys to trust and who not to trust. So it's been real easy for me. But working with Nate especially, he's got 3 older brothers that beat him up every day. So it's really kept him grounded. So that's been easy for his case specifically.
Yep, that is true, bro. And then last question for both of y'all. You staying at Highlands. I think, number one, the first time I talked to you, you did not want any credit. You wanted to throw all the credit to your teammates. And I loved every moment of that. And now I seen you guys, Utah Prep. Y'all were down big to start that game. Came back in, had a chance to win it. Then I'm like, okay, we're going to see if it's real when they play prolific. Sorry about that. And play prolific, y'all won. Mm-hmm. You made some crazy reads in that game too as well. Like, what can you say to kids about staying with your program that you start with, you know what I'm saying, and then getting those dubs and growth together as a team and being a winner and leading the bunch instead of going with a whole bunch of other leaders that a lot of people want to do? They want to join all the other top prospects. So what can you say to that?
I mean, I would love to say that you shouldn't go to any prep school. You should stay where you're at, stay homegrown. But that's not really the case for a lot of kids. For me, personally, it was the case because I knew what I had at Highland. I knew I had a great head coach, amazing players, amazing teammates that were going to push me, and challenge me every day. For me, going into my junior and senior season, I knew I needed to become, kind of more of a dog, more of a leader, more of someone that can, carry himself in, a positive way and just, learn how to handle being one of the best players in the country. And I knew I could do that because, one, I knew I had the great circle around me, and I also knew that I was gonna be pretty good at basketball one day. So in knowing that, I knew that the schedule was gonna come with it, and everything. I knew that I didn't have to chase anything; that everything was gonna follow me, and I'm glad that it happened that way, because just to be able to see what it's done for the community back in Virginia, back in Warrenton, to see what beating the number 1 team does for a community, having a great, strong basketball program, having all the fans and all the, community members at the school supporting us. It's amazing. Seeing all these young kids looking up to all, not just me, but everyone on the basketball program. It does, wonders for my confidence, and, it's just great to see for a community. And obviously I'm a Virginia kid and I want to stay in the state that I'm in and, just, win there. So seeing that is so cool, and I'm glad I stayed, where I am.
Derek, are you sure this man didn't have media training, bro?
I
His
know there's
students
a lot of local high school coaches probably pumping their fist at that quote, clipping it and sending it to their junior star they want to stay home next year.
bro, look, I'm gonna drop the bomb again too. Like the way he answered it. Number one, he didn't throw no shade at the players that like are going to the preps. He actually gave a great answer for them. Then he brought it to himself. Like, bro, like it's just crazy to me. But go ahead, Derek. Like, even off of that, just to speak about that and him stay at the Islands.
Yeah, I mean, it's incredible. His coaches there are so good. His family's so important to him. His local trainer, Chauncey, his high school coach, Logan, one of the best young coaches in America, really, in my opinion. Nate just kind of saw all that around him and say, why go anywhere? Why move? Loves his teammates, wanted to stay home, and absolutely crushing it this year with those guys. So still a lot more to play, a couple games coming up, a couple big platforms to keep delivering, but it's been really fun to watch for sure.
Yep, and just for the both of y'all, I got to give y'all two flowers because like even when Nate, when you're not even in the room, it's never been a, hey man, he shouldn't go to Highlands. Derek's always been like, man, I rock with every decision Nate does. Nate's a great kid. I know he's gonna make the right decision too as well. I'll help him any step of the way. So, got to give both of y'all flowers in terms of that. Y'all working great as a team. So let me drop the bomb to that too as well, and the youngest too. But honestly, and then before we leave and get to the place. We have a big announcement. Nate, do you want to tell us the announcement? I'm not even going to tell people what you're doing right now, but can you speak to it?
Yeah, I mean, it's been a long time for sure, but I got, a group of schools that I really want to, focus in on and kind of just, put my attention towards for the remaining of this, recruiting season and before I, choose my college. Those schools being Arkansas, Duke, Kentucky, Tennessee, and Louisville. I can speak to each of them if you want, but pretty much those are my top five, and those are schools that have been consistent with recruiting me, and there's definitely some schools that have been consistent and I've built great relationships with, and I just want to give those programs their flowers, and I'm truly grateful that a lot of programs stick with me for a long time. Unfortunately, these are just the schools that I felt I could see myself playing at and want to give all my attention towards.
Yeah, and be different, Nate. I haven't heard someone speak to the school, so I always want to give you that platform to do that. If you want to speak to why that's your top five, and congratulations too as well with that. But yeah, you can speak to it, bro. Go ahead.
So I mean, we'll start off with Arkansas. Coach Cal and pretty much the whole coaching staff has been. I mean, they started a bit later than other schools, but they've been putting me, through the fire they've been coming to a lot of my practices, a lot of my games, even with some of the, recruits I have now have been texting me. So, obviously Coach Cal's, produced a lot of NBA level talent, and, beginning as a basketball player, seeing him at Kentucky is, it's kind of a dream for a lot of players to see, all these NBA players playing on, one team. The next team, Duke, they've probably been recruiting me for the longest of the five. But it's it's great to see that one, they're winning with freshman players, and they're one of the top teams in the nation, not just offensively but defensively, and they're able to do it with a lot of firepower. The next school, Louisville, they've also been very consistent. I love Coach Kelsey's enthusiasm and Coach Carr. They have great relationship with not just me but with my whole family. And obviously going back to Fanstake, their fans, they're in with them as well. So seeing a program, trying to revive the program they had before and trying to do it with me and Michael it's great to see. Kentucky, just actually came back from a visit from there, but again, Coach Pope, high character coach, not just talking about X and O's, but as a person, he's a high character guy. That's something you like to see as a player. But also his offense is, one of the, best in the nation. He gets up and down the floor, shoots the three really well. So seeing that as a, versatile player who does all those things is very, very tempting for sure. And then Tennessee, been down there twice now. Rick Barnes, he coached KD, but he's also just another high character guy, and all these coaches are. But being able to see them and see, how he was able to push KD to be the player he is today, put him in situations where he had to be that player. It's very enticing to see and maybe potentially come in and do that next year.
Man, I gotta drop the ball. This man, I was looking at your eyes. Man, because I was making sure is he reading off of a script? This man went off the heart, and it was a fire response. Usually people just be like, they say some stuff. I'm like, okay, it's dope. Good response. You're gonna get better over time, but the response was heartfelt. That's why I rock with it, bro. I gotta give you your shout out, man. Like, first time ever I've heard someone show love to all 5 schools too as well, and gave them their time. Not some short, everybody got an equal time and equal love. I gotta show love to that. I think that's fire. Derek, what do you have you seen that?
Kid's a stud. I want to flip it on you real quick, Jordan. You're a hoop guy. Where do you think Nate fits the best for college?
Oh man. Ooh. Nah, you ain't gonna put me in that. Hey Nate, whatever decision you make, I support it, bro. We going there. There's a lot of the homies that are at different schools. I'm not about to get a text in there. I love your top 5. Let's just go there, bro. Derek, I like the response though, bro. I you know what? I think the biggest thing that's been unique though, and one thing I want to give you credit for doing, is you bringing that fire back to Louisville. I watched Through the Fire when Sebastian made his decision to go there. It's giving me those type of vibes because we're seeing that fan base really show how strong it is, despite what you've seen in the past with them. And like immediately, your Fanstake has always been at the top, and they're probably never gonna let that joint get to number 2. So no matter what, they're gonna add some bread to it, and that's one thing I love, and I want to give you your flowers on is doing that, is bringing that fire back to college because a lot of times people go like, oh, it's just a one and done deal. Like Fanstake's actually bringing back that like rivalry and like, let's see who got the best fan base. So I want to give you love on that end, on the Louisville side. Because even seeing Kentucky like, yo, hold on, we had 1,000? Nah, we had 21 now. Let's get to it. 21 Savage. So I want to show y'all love on that end because I think that's fire. But I support y'all decision. Whatever y'all do, I support it. So that's it.